Again, we will discuss examples that I have taken from the book of Shams Outline in Geometry. Example number 1. Prove that the base angles of an isosceles trapezoid are congruent. So the hypothesis is the isosceles trapezoid, and the conclusion is its base angles are congruent. Let us now create the illustration. The hypothesis tells us to create an isosceles trapezoid. So we have drawn trapezoid A, B, C, D. Then the conclusion states that its base angles are congruent. So we must prove that angle A and angle D are congruent. So the restatement is, given that quadrilateral ABCD is an isosceles trapezoid, and prove that angle A and angle D are congruent. We were given that quadrilateral ABCD is an isosceles trapezoid. So it means that line segment BC and line segment AD are parallel, and line segment AB and line segment DC are congruent. We need to prove that angle A and angle D are congruent. To prove that angle A and angle D are congruent, we should at least create two congruent triangles. So, by construction, we can construct line segment BE and line segment DCF, which are both perpendiculars to line segment AD. After line segment BE, which is perpendicular to line segment AD, is being constructed, we can see that angle BEA is a right angle. Also, since line segment CF is perpendicular to line segment AD, then angle CFD is a right angle. So, since all right angles are congruent, angle BEA and angle CFD are congruent. Also, we can say that line segment BE is congruent to line segment CF because parallel lines are everywhere equidistant. So look at the figure, look at the illustration. Can we now prove that these two triangles are congruent? Yes, because there are two right triangles and we have corresponding legs and hypotenuse that are congruent. And if we can prove that these two triangles are congruent, we can also prove that angle A and angle D are congruent by CP/CTC. Let's have the formal proof. So statement number 1, quadrilateral ABCD is an isosceles trapezoid. It was given. Number 2, line segment BC and line segment AD are parallel, or line segment BC is parallel to line segment AD by the definition of an isosceles trapezoid. Also, line segment AB is congruent to line segment DC by the definition of an isosceles trapezoid. Line segment BE is perpendicular to line segment AD, and line segment CF is perpendicular to line segment AD by construction. Number 5, angle BEA and angle CFD are right angles because perpendicular lines form right angles. Triangle BEA and triangle CFD are right triangles because of the definition of a right triangle. BE, line segment BE, is congruent to line segment CF because parallel lines are everywhere equidistant. So that triangle BEA is congruent to triangle CFD because of the hypotenuse leg theorem or HL theorem using statements 3, 6, and 7. Finally, our conclusion is obtained. Angle A is congruent to angle D by CP/CTC or particularly CA/CTC. QED. Example number 2. Prove that, or given that quadrilateral ABCD is a parallelogram, E is a midpoint of line segment BC. G is a midpoint of line segment AD. Line segment EF is perpendicular to line segment BD. Line segment GH is perpendicular to line segment BD. Prove that line segment EF is congruent to line segment GH. So this is the illustration. When we say quadrilateral ABCD is a parallelogram, then it must imply that line BC or line segment BC and line segment AD are parallel, and also line segment BC is congruent to line segment AD. Now, it could be both sides, but as you can see, I focus on this side because it is where I can see the triangles, these two triangles, that I could possibly consider in this proof. E is a midpoint of BC, which implies that line segment BE is equal to EC. G is a midpoint of AD, which implies that line segment AG is congruent to line segment GD. Now, why do they have the same markings? It's because we know that line segment BC is congruent to line segment AD. So it must tell us that line segment BE is congruent to line segment EC, which is also congruent to line segment AG and also congruent to line segment GD. Line segment EF is perpendicular to line segment BD, and line segment GH is perpendicular to line segment BD. So the consequence of this statement is that angle BFE and angle DHG are right angles because perpendicular lines form right angles, and in addition to that, these two angles are congruent because all right triangles are congruent. Now we need to prove that line segment EF is congruent to line segment GH. Now to do this, as we have learned for many times already in the videos that I have created, we can make line segment EF and line segment GH congruent by CP/CTC. But first, we have to prove that these two triangles that contain these segments are congruent. Now we need three corresponding parts, and as you can see, there are only two corresponding parts for now. So where could we find our third corresponding parts? Now recall that line segment BC and line segment AD are parallel. So by the PAI theorem, meaning parallel alternate interior angles, CBD and ADB are congruent. Or we can restrict it, we can make it smaller. So angle EBF is congruent to angle GDH by the PAI theorem. So now we have already three corresponding parts. So we can say that triangle BEF is congruent to triangle DHG. And since these two triangles are now congruent, then line segment EF and line segment GH are now congruent. So let's have the formal proof. Statement number 1, quadrilateral ABCD is a parallelogram, given. Statement number 2, line segment BC is parallel to line segment AD by the definition of a parallelogram. Line segment BC is congruent to line segment AD because the opposite sides of a parallelogram are congruent. E is a midpoint of line segment BC, given. And statement number 5 is a consequence of statement number 4, that line segment BE is congruent to line segment EC by the definition of a midpoint. G is a midpoint of line segment AD, given. Statement 7 is a consequence of statement 6. Line segment AG is congruent to line segment GD by the definition of a midpoint. So that line segment BE is congruent to line segment GD by transitive property. So I only focus on these segments because my purpose is to prove that these two triangles are congruent. number 9 are given. Line segment EF is perpendicular to line segment PD and line segment GH is perpendicular to line segment BD. Statement 10 is of course the consequence of statement 9, that angle BFE and angle DHG are right angles because perpendicular lines form right angles, and that angle BFE and angle DHG are congruent because all right angles are congruent. Now, angle EBF is congruent to angle GDH by the PAI theorem. Statement 13, these two triangles now, triangle EBF and triangle GDH, are congruent, or shall we say triangle EBF is congruent to triangle GDH by the SAA theorem considering statements 8, 11, and 12. Finally, our conclusion is obtained. Line segment EF is congruent to line segment GH by CPCTC, or particularly CSCTC. Now we have proved our geometrical statement, QED. Example number 3 again is taken from, or was taken from, Shom's outline in geometry. Quadrilateral ABCD is a rectangle and E is a midpoint of BC. Prove that line segment AE is congruent to line segment ED. Now we were given that quadrilateral ABCD is a rectangle, so it must imply that line segment BC is congruent to line segment AD and that line segment AB is congruent to line segment DC. Also, it must imply that angle ABE and angle DCE are right angles and are congruent. Well, of course, by the definition of a rectangle. Well, anyway, by the definition of a rectangle, it must also imply that angle BAD and angle CDA are right angles. But I did not include it here because my focus is considering these two triangles. E is the midpoint of BC implies that line segment BE is congruent to line segment EC. Now we need to prove that line segment AE is congruent to line segment ED. Well, of course, as usual, we can prove this to be congruent by CPCTC, but first, proving these two triangles are congruent. So now we do not have problems with that because we have already 3 corresponding parts available for us that are congruent. So here's the proof. Quadrilateral ABCD is a rectangle given. Number 2, line segment BC is congruent to line segment AD by the definition of a rectangle. Also, line segment AB and line segment CD are congruent by the definition of a rectangle. Okay, some students may combine this into one item, but I'd rather do not combine them so that during the proof of 2 triangles, you can locate the statements. Number 4, angle ABE is congruent to angle DCE because of the definition of a rectangle again. And finally, triangle ABE is congruent to triangle DCE by SAS postulate considering statements 2, 3, and 4. Finally, our conclusion, line segment AE is congruent to line segment ED by CPCTC or CSCTC. QED. Example number 4. Quadrilateral ABCD is a rhombus. Line segment AC is a diagonal. Prove that line segment AC bisects angle A and angle C. So we were given that quadrilateral ABCD is a rhombus. So it must imply that line segment BC is congruent to line segment CD, which is also congruent to line segment AD and congruent to line segment AB. Also, line segment BC is parallel to line segment AD. Well, of course, line segment AB is also parallel to line segment CD. But I only marked here because I think this would be enough for the proof. Prove that line segment AC bisects angle A and angle C. That means angle BAC and angle DAC must be congruent, as well as angle BCA and angle DCA. Now notice that I have different markings because I have not yet, it was not given that angle BAD and angle BCD are congruent. But we will anyway find out soon if they are really not congruent or congruent. Okay, so now look at that. They are now congruent. How did it happen? Because these are congruent, so the base angles must be congruent by the isosceles triangle theorem. Also, in this area here, these angles must also be congruent with each other because of the isosceles triangle theorem. Now, how could we make these two congruent? Well, of course, by using the parallel lines. Remember the PAI theorem. If two lines are parallel, then its alternate interior angles are congruent. So with this one pair alone, angle BCA and angle DAC are congruent because of the PAI theorem. And since these are congruent, then by transitive property, these two must be congruent and these two must also be congruent. And of course, all these four are congruent. Statement number 1, quadrilateral ABCD is a rhombus given. Statement number 2, line segment BC is congruent to line segment AD, which is congruent to line segment AB, and congruent to line segment DC by the definition of a rhombus. Also, line segment BC is parallel to line segment AD by the definition of a rhombus. And angle BAC, angle BCA, and angle DAC and angle DCA are congruent because of isosceles triangle theorem. But particularly, angle BCA and angle DAC are congruent by the PAI theorem. So, statement number 6 now tells us that these all four are congruent. So, angle BAC is congruent to angle DAC, congruent to angle DCA, congruent to angle BCA by transitive property. And so, number 7, the conclusion, line segment AC bisects angle A and angle C by the definition of bisect. QED. Example number 5. Quadrilateral ABCD, E, F, G, and H are midpoints of line segment AD, AB, line segment BC, and line segment CD, respectively. Prove that quadrilateral EFGH is a parallelogram. We were given that the quadrilateral ABCD, and that we were given that E, F, G, and H, E, F, G, and H are midpoints of line segment AD, line segment AB, line segment BC, and line segment CD, respectively. So the implication or the consequence of this statement is that line segment AF is congruent to line segment FB, line segment AE is congruent to line segment ED, line segment DH is congruent to line segment HC, line segment BG is congruent to line segment GC. Now prove that quadrilateral EFGH is a parallelogram. So how can we prove that this is a parallelogram? So of course, we should prove that the opposite sides are congruent and parallel. So we have two, congruent and parallel. So to do that, we can construct the diagonal BD. Okay, what is the importance of the diagonal BD? The diagonal BD is the hypotenuse of this triangle. Also, a hypotenuse of this triangle. So, if you can recall a particular principle that states that this segment joined from the midpoints of these sides is parallel to the third side and is 1/2. Also, this segment that is formed from the midpoints of these two sides of a triangle is parallel to the third side and is 1/2 its measure. So, if this segment is parallel to the third side here, and this segment is parallel to the third side here, then what must be the conclusion, or what must be the consequence with regards to segments EF and GH? So of course, line segment EF and line segment HG are parallel because they are parallel to the same line. Also, if EF is measuring 1/2 of line segment BD and HG is also measuring 1/2 of line segment BD, then we can say that line segment EF is congruent to line segment GH. So, we already have a pair that are congruent and parallel. And so, quadrilateral EFGH is a parallelogram. So here is our proof. Statement 1, quadrilateral ABCD given. Statement 2, EFG and H are midpoints of line segment AD, AB, line segment BC and CD respectively given. Number 3, line segment AF is congruent to line segment FB. Line segment AE is congruent to line segment ED. Line segment DH is congruent to line segment HC. And line segment BG is congruent to line segment GC by the definition of a midpoint. Number 4, line segment BD is a diagonal by construction. Number 5, line segment EF is parallel to line segment BD. And measure of line segment EF is 1/2 of the measure of line segment BD. So I'm sorry, I should have added letter M here. 1/2 of M of line segment BD. Also, line segment GH is parallel to line segment BD, and that the measure of line segment GH is 1/2 the measure of line segment BD. Again, I'm sorry, there should be a letter M, a small letter M here. The reason is, the segment joining the midpoints of two sides of a triangle is parallel to the third side and half as long as the third side. Statement 6, line segment EF is now parallel to line segment GH because two lines parallel to the same line are parallel. Statement 7, line segment EF is congruent to line segment GH by transitive property because of that. And finally, we have the conclusion. The quadrilateral EFGH is a parallelogram by the definition of a parallelogram. So we have now proved that the geometrical statement is true. QED. Recap. It is important that you have understood well and memorized the principles in geometry in order for you to skillfully construct proofs of geometrical statements. Keep having a positive and organized thought while constructing proofs. Thanks! Remember, math is easy to learn when one learns with enthusiasm. Bye!